London as producing great pieces of furniture like this. It's 2 different types of woods, and there's this little feature on it, which isn't seen on many other desks, and it holds a candle, so it provides a light. So if you look at this map, you can see that New London is right in between Newport and New York, and those 2 ports were run by the British. So New London was a great spot for intercepting because the British had to go by to get to New York or to Newport. And New London was also the only deep water port, so it was great for importing and exporting. So this is probably our biggest treasure. It is a flag from the American Revolution.
Oh my goodness.
And there's very few flags from this time period left. There's very few flags at this time. The American flag was a new concept, an idea. And you could probably count the amount in existence on one hand. So this is stitched from red and white silk ribbon, and we believe that it was stitched by the naval agent's wife. It's slightly different from the Betsy Ross flag that has 13 stars in a circle. And historians believe the reason for 3 stars in the center could be because the Shaw family crest had 3 stars in the center of it. Otherwise, there's really no reason why it would be altered differently from the Betsy Ross flag. And it was found in this home in 1907 when the house was sold to the Historical Society.
Man, that was fantastic when they found that, huh?
Yeah. So at the beginning of the war, it was very beneficial having the port in New London for privateering. But towards the end of the war in 1781, the British were very angry that all of their ships were being intercepted. And Benedict Arnold, who was on the American side and traded to the British side, he led a raid on New London and Fort Griswold. So 800 men on both sides of the river came up and attacked. So 800 went to New London, and they started burning the town at both ends until they met in the middle. This house was one of the first to be burned, except it's made of stone, and then so the neighbors were able to put it out. It didn't catch quickly. However, the wooden wing of the home was destroyed. And out of this, or from this fire, only around 3 to 4 buildings survived in New London. The whole town was ruined. It's very hard to find documents past 1781. Everything was destroyed. And the owner, or the naval agent, would have been hung if he was caught, except he was fishing that day, so he hid in a creek and was able to survive in the attack. Otherwise, he
What was his name? Do you know?
Nathaniel Shaw Jr.
Okay.
So he was living here at the time. So Fort Griswold, there was around 150 men in the fort, and they fought with the 800 that came to the fort for about an hour, and then around 6 of the men in the fort died, and around 1/4 of the British Army had died. And after that hour, the British were able to get through to the fort, and they said, "Your time to surrender was an hour ago," and they slaughtered most of the men.